Good morning. Welcome to day 5 here in Vieste, the final day of competition. My name is Sandy and I'm joined here in the booth by Greta Marchega.
Buongiorno Sandy, buongiorno to all of you from beautiful Vieste.
Yeah, it's still beautiful, but there is a bit of weather here today.
Crazy. I mean, it's actually like yesterday. It's grey. It's raining actually a little bit, but we know it doesn't need to mean anything because yesterday was the same and then we got the most beautiful day out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're keeping our fingers crossed. It looks like the kind of storm fronts are going to pass even earlier today.
Yes.
And there's actually a lot more wind on the forecast as well. That prevailing direction that we want here in order to get the thermal working.
Exactly. From the north side, the maestrale. So actually everything is in a good place.
Yeah. So, we're keeping everything crossed that today is going to be a better day. As you can see on the cameras there's a bit of motion in the ocean.
Yes.
There's a little bit of wind already from the right direction. So fingers crossed these clouds are gonna pass and we're gonna get a full day of action.
For sure.
And speaking of action, if you didn't manage to catch all of the action yesterday, oh boy, I've said action too much.
No, but it was plenty of action. What can we do about that?
It was an amazing day. We managed to finish off the entire foil style double elimination and even get started on a second single before the thermal wind kind of dropped off as we went into the evening.
It was already late in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a look at some of the highlights from yesterday. Welcome to day 4 here in Vieste. After a difficult morning of storms and rain, it looked like we weren't going to get any conditions really, and then within 5 or 10 minutes suddenly we had perfect foil style conditions, 15-16 knots, more windy than day 2, perfect to get started with the double elimination. With just 6 heats to run, we just needed the wind to last long enough for us to be able to get through and crown a champion of the foil style here in Vieste. And boy did we do that. Starting off, first notable mention, the young Brouwersdam ripper Tim Gerdes managing to take out Jamie Howard, then go through the flying Frenchman Sam Steve before being stopped by none other than the most successful European freestyler of all time, Steven van Broekhoven. After that, Steven van Broekhoven up against Lennart Neubauer. Lennart, not a name you necessarily associate with foil style, but putting a stop to Steven's hopes of coming first and himself ending up in the final up against Mr. Jentel Kers. Ultimately, Jentel taking the victory, defending his title from the single elimination and taking the overall win for the foil style here in Vieste. With the success of this afternoon's wind, all eyes are turning to the final day tomorrow. And with a great forecast on the horizon, hopefully we are going to get out for some classic windsurf freestyle. What a show.
Bellissimo. It's been great.
What a show that was put on. As I said, it was almost even better because it was so unexpected.
Yes, true. Exactly. I mean, everybody was like in relax mode and then suddenly this rush, the wind was here and everybody was full on. So can't wait to repeat that one today, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, so I don't want to talk about it too much. But at the end of the day, that's what we're here to talk about.
Yes.
So I've got to do it. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy those highlights, make sure that you are heading back through the back catalogue of all the content that we have made for this event. The pre and post shows every day. We've had interviews, we've had highlights,
background stories,
exactly,
tech talks.
Exactly, with all the riders. Yeah, from kind of technical discussions about how to set up your foil for foil style with Jentel Kers and Steven van Broekhoven, to kind of interviews with some of the other riders about how they feel about it, to just general chat about freestyle windsurfing.
A lot of insights also.
Absolutely, yeah. So make sure that you are checking that out. You can find all that on our YouTube channel and over on our Facebook page. And then if you want more behind the scenes action, make sure you're following us on Instagram and TikTok. Both of our handles on those channels are at Freestyle Pro Tour.
Yeah.
So make sure that you are doing that. But yeah, we did manage to complete the full double elimination of the foil style yesterday. And as I said, we did get underway with a single, but the wind started to drop
Yeah,
off.
it was already late in the day, so the thermic wind kind of died. But
Yeah.
I mean, we got a double elimination under the belt, so that was what we were looking for.
Absolutely, yeah. And it was great to see, you know, with the foil style, we got to see, you know, these kind of up-and-coming riders, I suppose future stars of the sport, you could call them, you know, mixing it up with the guys that we're more used to seeing on the podium, you know,
Exactly.
like Jens Toker, Steven van Broekhoven, you know. It was great to have that mix, and actually, as they said, the level of foil style is very level.
Yeah,
it's a level playing
super
field.
high. And I mean, I think it's a really interesting dynamic to see these young riders pushing through via the like names who are in the industry since a long time, big names, like let's say the bit older guys,
Yeah.
influencing each other, learning from each other, and to give also like a place to push through for the young riders to show what they can do, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And with that in mind, let's take a little look and have a bit of a breakdown of some of the action from the eliminations yesterday. So this is some of the action from the end of the day yesterday in that single elimination. So Bodie Kempen, you know, putting on a bit of a show. Unfortunately, yeah, the conditions just sort of dropping off.
Yeah.
You know, quite.
This was
quite
the
difficult.
endless ducky when my head was spinning, actually.
Yeah, endless duck jibe.
And let's not forget to mention Lucy. Lucy, the only girl actually competing in foil style. She was putting off quite a show yesterday and inspiring many girls for sure. That's what she's here for, actually, giving it all. And she had a way better heat than on the first day, where unfortunately the wind was way lighter. I mean, this you could see actually for all the riders, that they had way more power in the sail, could land the moves better, which is very important actually for the foil style.
Yeah.
Yuppie.
Joep Schmidt landing that first shaka.
Yes.
He looked pretty stoked with that one, I think.
Only positive styles.
Yeah, great to see some of the action there from the single elimination. As I said, you know, that wind dropping to the point where the judges were like, "This, you know, it's not a fair contest anymore." But yeah, you know, it's interesting. You know, we've had discussions a lot over the last few days, you know, about the tour, and you know, especially with the foil style becoming that level playing field where you've got, you know, the big names that you're used to seeing, but also these future stars mixing it up. And it really is true that the tour is very much a professional tour.
Yes,
and it's
very
for those elite top professionals. You know, we took a look through Champions Alley the other day. We've had 20 years of champions,
exactly.
And quite a few of those champions have also got world titles as well. You know, and it is for that. But it's also the aim of this tour is also to offer a platform for these up-and-coming riders.
Definitely. I mean, this is actually a platform, a stage where the next generation of champion is born, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's very, very important to push the younger generation. And as said, I believe it's amazing to see guys like Steven competing against Tim, for example.
Yeah.
You know, they get like almost 15 years of difference, and Tim was so stoked and actually honored to be able to compete against Steven. So as said again, they're influencing each other actually and helping to grow each other, not only the discipline but their own level.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's great, you know, for them. We're trying to nurture that future talent and hopefully, you know, encourage it and help to grow the sport. And ideally, you know, these guys can make a career out of being a professional windsurfer.
Yes.
And that's what we want.
And I mean, actually, as we just said yesterday also, you're only getting better while competing. So it's very, very important also for those riders to give them a space to be able to improve and to show what they actually can.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that in mind, chatting about these kind of rising stars, let's take a little look at some highlight moments from some of those riders. And as you can see, we are joined by two of these young
lovely
up-and-coming
guests.
riders. Yeah, absolutely. The booth is busy this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good to have you guys. Good morning, Manolis Chryssopoulos from Greece.
Yeah. And we've got Matthias Vingard. Yeah. I think we're struggling to say the surname. How do we say it properly? Vingard.
And? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Boys, this is your, I believe, first kind of full year on tour. We've seen you guys at events before. I mean, Manolis, start us off. Talk us through your experience, with competing so far.
It's a very good experience. I really feel like I'm improving also as a rider, and I think I started a bit too late to join the tour. Because even though if your level is not as high, you need to get experience. You need to get known how to compete, which is a completely different thing with free sailing.
True,
and just
very
doing
true.
Moves, free. And for an hour, when you have 8, 9, 12 minutes, depends always from the conditions, it's completely different to perform like 8 moves or the ones the moves that we need to do to pass the heat.
Yeah, you really need to be on point.
The opponent you have, you need to know in a way how he's sailing. So we get knowing each other, and then we know like what moves, for example, Matthias has, and then I can go against him.
So it's also a lot about strategy and tactics,
a lot
actually.
Of strategy and
yes.
Tactics,
Yeah. Is that the same for you, Matthias? What's your experience been like?
Yeah, I think it's a bit different for me. I focus more on myself, and I really want to do my heat good and do my moves. And if I do my moves, I'm happy, no matter who I'm against. If I'm against Gentle, it's okay to lose out. If against Manolis, if you do good, I'm happy if I did my heat.
Yeah.
And otherwise, if I don't do my moves, then I have to do better next time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Winning and losing is part of the game.
Yeah.
Very true.
It's one of those difficult sports, isn't it? Because it can, and we've seen it before with heats, it's so easy to look at what the other rider's doing, and then you almost psych yourself out and you forget to do it. Has that been an experience with you guys? As you said just now, Matthias, you really try and focus on yourself. Do you find yourself when you're in heats, you have to sort of say that to yourself, like, no, just take a breath, don't look at what other guys are doing, because it is so different to free sailing, isn't it?
I think for me it's not like I'm getting psyched like when I see the others like I cannot do my moves, but I had it in Austria this year. I saw Joop did a double culo, and I was fully stoked for him, and I was like, wow, this was a cool move, and then I a bit forget, oh, what did I do?
Yeah.
So I had to go into the routine again, and this happens a bit, but normally I focus on myself, and it's working out.
Yeah, exactly. And Manolis, I'm sure, Matthias, you can speak to this after as well. How, when it comes to putting a heat together, how do you guys do it? Do you sort of go out there knowing what moves you want to do, or do you kind of wait and see what the conditions are going to bring you once you're actually out there? Or do you have a kind of, I suppose, like set list in your head of, right, I'm going to do a shaka, then I'm going to come back and do a burner, and then I'm going to do this? How does that work when you're getting prepared?
Look, definitely, first of all, I have my best moves, the ones I can perform better on free sailing, I will do the most on the hit. So it really depends on myself.
Makes
first
sense.
of all.
Yeah.
And then if I really see the moves from the other rider, because sometimes you don't see them, they're sailing a different tack, or you're doing the moves maybe at the same moment, and you don't see that. If you see the moves, then maybe you can change your strategy and do like something harder.
Yeah.
But usually, it's more about having the strategy before.
Yeah.
And the moves that you want to do, you already have them in your head, and you go out there and you do them.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
And
So it's
just
also a
maybe the
bit
last
going
minute,
with the flow, obviously, always.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
You, Matthias?
Yeah, I know what I want to do, but when I'm out there, it depends so much. If you get a strong gust, I can do something bigger, or if it's a bit lower wind, a bit more choppy, I go a bit more safe. It's all depend on the conditions, and I know what I want to do, and then I really just feel the gust and go for it when it's there.
So you always have to adapt actually in that moment. I mean, you can plan a little bit forehand and get the tactic ready, but in the end, you always have to go with the flow and adapt. Yeah, I mean, makes totally sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can only agree.
Something that me and Greta have noticed, watching the foil style heats over the last few days, but also in past events, and especially with the experienced riders, is this kind of concept of the rider's building a house in a heat. You know, you start off and you build the foundations. You do the moves you can already do. You know, I can land this every time in these conditions. And you do that, you get your points on the board, and then as you get into the last half of the heat, you go, right, now I'm going to start trying something a bit bigger, a bit crazier. Maybe I'll try and add a 360 onto the end of a move I did earlier. You know. Is that something that you guys think about? Because we do notice sometimes the younger riders, especially if they're against, you know,
Big
Yentl
names.
or you know, another one of these big names, straight away they go, I'm going to try and do the biggest move I can, and then you crash, and then they get nervous and they keep crashing, and you notice the really experienced riders, they're very much, as we said, you know, building this
safe
house.
and sound in the beginning, and then more creative and radical via the end. Some of the younger riders are doing the vice versa,
other way around,
actually, like super
exactly.
radical in the beginning. So,
Yeah, can
what
either
are
of
you
you?
thinking about that?
About that, actually, I would say that some of the young riders probably have, you know, these new school moves. They can perform better, let's say, a burner than an e-slider.
Mhm.
It's also, I think for me, I can do a better burner, let's say, than an e-slider.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of the young guys are doing it as well.
yeah,
Like they can perform better a burner, even light winds,
Yeah.
air funnel, and they don't do these sliding moves, for example, for light wind conditions.
Yeah.
But like I think it's better to have your strategy, as I said before. I think it's always the same.
yeah,
Do the moves that you know better, and then
Get some points in.
and then let's try
build it up.
to try double move or
Absolutely.
something, or an air move or a
Yeah,
big
for
one.
sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Mateus?
Yeah, I go straight for the moves I know I can do and I feel comfortable with. I mean, I really went practicing a lot. Like I've done the burner for I don't know how many years, but now it's like almost any conditions with every sail I feel pretty comfortable with the burner. So then I would go for the burner, and then maybe if it's full power and I got the speed, then later I can go for the burner funnel or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would say after all this techie talk, let's get some more, let's say, personal information about you for your fans back home. Can you tell us something about your home spots? What are actually your favorite conditions to train in?
Yeah, look, I live in Presonese in Rodos.
Lucky
It's
boy,
obviously-
lucky boy.
It's maybe the best spot you can find in summertime. The problem is like in the morning and maybe in the afternoon it's quite busy. So you really need to find the right time to go in the water and train. But yeah, obviously we have flat water and waves. So I guess maybe flat water is my favorite.
Yes.
But it changed just because of competition. As
Okay.
I started going more in choppy water, more in waves. And I actually like now to go more in mixed conditions, like a bit of wave, a bit of flat in between,
sounds
some
good.
chop. So I like
Yeah.
all the conditions. And Brasonis is the spot you have it.
Yeah,
Okay.
got a little bit of
Everything,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And
perfect.
you're actually also working as a windsurfing teacher, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So guys, if you need some special lessons in Prosonisi, hit this guy up.
Yeah. Contact
Absolutely.
me and definitely.
Yeah,
Okay, and Matthias, what about you?
Yeah, it's a bit different for me. I'm normally from Denmark. I've been living both in Copenhagen and in Aalborg, so we really have like a really big variety of conditions. But the last 2 years, we have been living almost full time in the van with the family. I have 2 kids, and we live there and just chilling and
Oh wow,
enjoying,
that's amazing actually.
Yeah. It's like we always got told like our windsurfing and kids, it's this really going together, but it's worked out perfect. I mean, my
Yeah.
girlfriend is full supporting. Like every time
Oh,
it's
that's
windy,
amazing.
I can go, and then when there's no wind, we do whatever she wants. Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
go to the
You
zoo
like
or
it.
the forest or like this. You know?
So
Good
you're
mix.
basically raising the next generation of champions. So what's going on
We
here?
see if they want to, they can. But now we just like he loves the water. The big one now, he's just turned 3.
yeah,
And I was surfing with him in the back, doing a few funnels like this, and he absolutely loves
Oh
it.
my god, how cool is that?
And we built a little surfboard for him. He was playing around here.
yeah. We saw
last
the other
days.
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he just loves being in the water. So it's maybe we see if he likes it, he can go, and if he's not, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
That's a cool way of doing
that's
it.
lovely.
That's
Great
a cool way
to
of doing
hear.
it. So looking at the forecast for today, then you know, getting ready for this afternoon after yesterday. I suppose first of all, how are you boys feeling? Any pressure, or are you guys ready and just excited to get out there?
No pressure at all. I just really want to go in the water. I came here to compete, so any conditions are going to be light wind, strong wind, I want to go.
All in.
Strong wind probably we're not going to have, but let's hope we can go in the water and compete against
That's
each
what
other.
we're here
That's
for.
what we all want, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I just want to go. I feel ready, and if it's 16 knots, we go pumping and we do the moves. Yeah, it's longer heats maybe, but
I think you actually sailed. You went out yesterday and did some freestyle while the guys were foil styling. We saw you coming in. Did you manage to get any moves in?
Yeah, I did the Gulo and Shaka air funnel. It was good. I was 4.8 on the 87 liter. The setup is working so good for me.
Awesome. Yeah. So
Very
fingers
good.
crossed. I mean, the forecast looks a lot stronger for today. So yeah, boys, thank you so much for joining us. Let's take a little look at some action as to get hyped up for the action this afternoon.
Good luck, boys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting us be here.
Hello, Mr. Sims.
Hello, Sandy Clunas. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, it's a pleasure as always.
The big boss is in the office as usual. Yeah. Great day yesterday. I suppose
Indeed.
let's briefly talk about yesterday.
Yeah, sure.
How has that gone for you? You know, obviously you're running around behind the scenes, everything like that. Yesterday it all came in so quickly. You know, for you as the overlord, you know, you're obviously checking with the judges. Well, I saw you running around, you know, you're checking with the judges, getting all that ready, obviously also coordinating all of us, and then also getting a moment to check out the action for yourself. Yeah, how was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the point about checking out the action, actually, I quite enjoy that because we're on the backstage there behind the stream, and we get to see all the camera angles and stuff like this, you know, on the multi-view there, so it's quite nice. And together with Martin, who's there as well, doing a fantastic job. It's super nice to be able to see, you know, everything there, and just kind of like it helps with running around a bit, you know, keeps it a bit more under control. But yeah, checking in with the judges and, you know, making sure things are going well with the schedule and things like that. And yeah, and then seeing the action on the water is awesome. Like, you know, it was cool how it picked up quite quick, as you said.
Yeah.
And then the foil style, I've been blown away. You know, it's super
I think we all
impressive.
have.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Like when you look at the images, like that we see afterwards, you know, with photography here, Miles, and you know, we see these foil stylers going like 3 meters in the air.
Yeah.
You know, in like 12 knots. When they're saying, it's a bit light, you know. So imagine like just 3 or 4 knots more. So,
yeah, exactly.
It's got a lot of potential. Very excited, but now really looking forward to the fin. You know, I really hope we get that underway. It's quite cool. We just the weather's said like a bit of a storm activity around midday. It appears there's been like a storm front that's kind of passed.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's clearing the way already.
Yeah.
There's kind of a dark cloud hanging over just the back here, which could come and give us another sort of front. And then maybe after that, we see the wind coming in and getting underway for that single elimination with the fin.
But it's still early as well. You know, we've still got plenty of time. We didn't manage to get started, and we didn't start until 2 o'clock yesterday. And it looks like the wind forecast is stronger and coming in earlier today as well. So
exactly.
yeah, I'm very, very excited of that. Let's take a little look at the ladder that we've got for the men's single elimination today.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, there's some pretty hot matchups.
There's some pretty big heats.
That's for sure, yeah.
Yeah, which one stands out to you in the first couple of rounds?
Yeah, first round, so we see there the matchups. We've got 8 of them in the first round. So on the left-hand side there, you know, Jamie Howard against Rafael Bauer. Raf's on our filming team, so it's quite fun, you know, this kind of mission between filming and getting on the water. It's cool, but the guys really know the sport, so it's super cool to have them there. That's for sure going to be an interesting heat. You know, I love watching Jamie. He's ripping. He's really coming up through the tour. It's super exciting, and him and Ollie are such fun on the tour. Ollie is a talent as well, so you know, it's really cool to have them around. Yeah, I mean, you have Matthias in here just now. He's made quite an impression in Austria.
Yeah.
So I think he's one to watch. I think the Tigo Takumi heat.
That's the one I've got my eyes on.
Yeah. So Takumi had a bit of a warm-up session the day before, and he was doing some pretty good moves.
Scared a lot of people apparently.
Yeah. So that's going to be exciting, and he's coming off the back of that win in Japan as well. That event over there that we're kind of collaborating with these guys. So that's pretty exciting. And then, yeah, I mean, let's just continue running through. Yeah, we have George Grizzly also on the filming crew against Piero. Piero, Italian, Fnatic duotone rider, and he will be, charging against George there. I think it'll be quite an interesting one. Actually, I think Piero even just changed recently sponsors, potentially, I think, to Hot Sales, possibly.
Yes.
So, yeah. Those guys, and then on the other side, I mean, Sandy, take it away.
We've got Tim Gerdes up against Oliver Townsend. As you said, Ollie and Jamie very much kind of come as a set. They were kind of DJing last night for us, putting on a bit of a show off the water as well as on the water. Yeah, as I said, I sailed with Ollie a lot in the UK. He rips, and then obviously Tim Gerdes needs no introduction after his performance in the foil style yesterday. He rips just as much with a fin under his board as he does with the foil. If not more. So that's going to be a really interesting heat. Under that, we've got Eugenio Marconi against Andreas Rossler, two real young guns. Eugenio Marconi, Fnatic duotone rider from Italy as well. I know he's put up a lot of things on social media that he was very excited for this event. I think he really enjoyed it last year. Great conditions for his kind of type of sailing.
Yeah, and one of those like up and comers. He's been a bit like he's been on the tour for some events now. And I think he's one of those guys, like a bit of a stealth weapon that's going to cause some upsets in the future. You guys, you really touched upon the future of the freestylers and nurturing the talent on the tour. And as just now, and as he's definitely one of those. Andy as well. Andy stepped into it. He's been like, he's been one of those guys that's really made the transition from the rookies camps that we did.
Yeah, I remember.
He's like just going for it, like hell for leather, just going for moves and getting involved in all the events. He loves it, and it's so cool to see him around and taking part. So one to watch for the future, definitely.
Absolutely, He's I remember it was my first event a couple of years ago as commentator. He was on the rookies camp, and to see him now, he's very much become a man, and his moves have been reflected that. And I spoke to him the other day. He's actually going to spend the summer working at Club Vass as well. So I imagine he'll get a lot of time on the water there.
Awesome, yeah.
A bit of a
and the level he'll be pushed.
Absolutely,
So
So it'd be really exciting to see how his sailing looks. In the autumn time after spending a summer there.
And don't forget his brother as well. His brother is following in his footsteps.
Yeah, Alex.
He's actually even here. Behind the scenes at the event, and he's together with the family. They're super supportive and coming along, and Alex will be slowly following that path as well, I'm sure. So
definitely
nice family run there.
Yeah.
The next one, you see there's a heat, a gap, purely because of the numbers of competitors.
And the heat underneath that is another one that I've really got my eye on. Joop Schmidt up against Miki Czech. As we discussed this briefly in the post show yesterday, two kind of light wind specialists, but very different sailors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Joop, slightly sort of more built out guy. He's obviously training quite a bit. And it's impressive his skills in the light wind. Carrying more bulk, more muscle mass. He has such technique, and control of the bigger sails as well. He's having to use the 5.2s, the 5.6s. Miki, smaller guy.
He's always on 4.4 apparently.
Exactly. Always on 4.4, even when the guys are at 5.2, 5.6, and he's still playing. And such a character around, humble guy and super cool. But that matchup's going to be really interesting. Is a little chop on the water, so it'll be interesting to see who takes advantage of that chop, who perhaps aims more the flat water spots. This kind of stuff. So definitely one to watch.
I think that's going to be a really great heat there. Don't forget if you guys are watching, let us know who your money's on for all of these eliminations and all of these great heats that we've got coming up. As we see the drone view there of the beautiful Spiaggia Lunga, Long Beach.
There it is. Yeah, I mean that's the scenes we're seeing this morning. You see that kind of dark cloud down on the top left of the screen. That's the storm that's passed by. There's one or two hanging around over the land just there on the right of the screen, and that's where there's some sort of the mountains are squeezing the pressure as the winds come down from the north. Through the sea there between here and Croatia. It just gets squeezed, and you've got this little kind of heel here on Italy, like this bump
That's what I called it. Everyone said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "You know the boot. I'm going on. I'm going to the heel."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're right around there with that bump, and that bump just sticks out and kind of like the causes a bit of a squeeze. With the squeeze, the clouds get kind of drifted over the very point here. So actually, often where it's forecast storms and clouds, that's just behind us here. And so you hear the rumbling of the thunder in the background. Yeah. So that's right behind us. So obviously, if there's lightning activity or anything like this, we'll keep sailors off the water. But well,
we haven't seen any so far.
Yeah,
and it's been thundering, for the last sort of hour or so. So yeah, fingers crossed. As we said yesterday, we were sat here in the morning. If you told me at 11 a.m. yesterday that we'd have got to day 5 and we'd have finished the double for the foil style, I would not have believed you, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
Anyway, so I mean, there's also the chance that with the wind building, there'll be time to continue on with the foil style for a bit longer.
Exactly.
So see a bit more action of that.
Yeah.
Then,
if the foil style, that's another just good thing for us to have in our pocket. You know, if we do get that wind, which isn't quite contestable with the fin, we can now utilize the foil style to bring you guys all the action.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. So I think on the women's side as well, we have these lovely ladies there, some good talent.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited.
Yeah. So I think we should let's take a little look at what the women have got to offer today.
Indeed, I think there's a couple of.
All right, and here we are back in the booth together with a lovely guest, as you can see. I'm here together with Claire Elliott.
Hello.
Claire, thank you so much for joining me.
No problem.
Claire, how are you doing this morning? And maybe can you tell your fans at home what are you actually up to lately?
So we're here in Vieste. It's been about 4 days of waiting. It's been about 4 days of waiting at the moment, but it's amazing that they've been able to run the foil style. But yeah, today looks like the most promising day, and just really, really excited to get on the water.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we can't wait to see your girls actually ripping out there. How was it for you actually during the last days to see all the guys out on the water doing foil style and actually not really being able to be out there? I mean, are you now planning to join foil style maybe in the future as well, or what are you thinking about that in general?
I think foil style is amazing. If I had the opportunity to do it and I got the equipment, for sure I'd love to do it. To be able to sail in those conditions. I mean, they had like 10, 11 knots.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to see people doing like so many cool tricks in such little wind.
And it's very inspiring, right? I mean, Lucy, she's the only girl out there actually competing, holding up the flag for us girls actually at the moment in the men's fleet. Yeah. And that's what she's here for actually, to inspire other girls and to push maybe more girls into foil style.
I think like she's certainly done that. And the FPT has been amazing, allowing the women and the men to compete together. So maybe next year there'll be a few more in the fleet.
Definitely, fingers crossed for that. So actually, Claire, we just talked the other day that this is one of the places, one of the spots where there are actually the conditions that you really like, right? What are actually your favorite conditions to compete in, and where are you actually training a lot?
I think everyone's the same. They like to be overpowered and on their 4 rows, but in sort of like all my training, it's always been in windy spots in Cape Town, in Dahab, in the UK. I like some ramps as well, some kickers. Butterflat water on 4852 is probably where, it's a bit of my weakness really.
Okay.
If I'm powered up with some kickers, this is where I excel, I think.
Because you told me that your favorite move is actually the shaka, right? So we need some little ramps for that over here. Would be great.
Yeah, I'm still finding the shaka really hard on flat water, but if I have some kickers, it definitely helps me.
Okay. perfect. All right, so talking about this, let's have a look at all the other competitors and all the other powerhouses of ladies here. Let's have a look actually on the upcoming single elimination ladders. I mean, some other amazing strong ladies are here. So actually we're seeing the first heat coming up. Oda back on the tour after a year of injury and also back after a couple of years actually competing here versus Maike. I mean, this is actually a really strong heat coming up. Yeah. Have you actually been training with one of the ladies recently?
No, this winter I've stayed in the UK. I did a 1 week in Dahab. I'd say I haven't trained so much. I've been doing a lot of CrossFit, been triathlon training,
yes,
lots of swimming and running, training for a marathon. Windsurfing, not so much.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, but it's also important to stay fit outside of the water, actually. I mean,
Sure.
it all helps you. And then, obviously, we have you coming up against Lisa. I mean, Lisa, she was actually doing really well also in the Tawin Vesul 2 weeks ago, third place. She's training also a lot, so we are very, very curious to see who will be advancing in the runners final and then, obviously, facing each other in the winners final. So I really can't wait to see you guys finally kicking it off for some proper freestyle on the water after the last days of foil style, which has been insane, obviously. And yeah, I mean, do you actually have a goal for the upcoming year?
To sail more, for
okay.
Sure. And just get a few more moves behind me.
Okay.
Lisa's an incredible sailor. She's been training all winter. Yeah, it will be an interesting heat, but to be honest, I'm just happy if I land some moves in a heat and yeah, be able to plane and just be in some strong wind today.
I mean, that's actually what we're here for, to enjoy in the first place,
sure.
Obviously to compete, but to enjoy in the first place. That's the most important thing, because I believe that in the moment you start to losing that, then it makes no sense at all. Okay, can't wait to see you girls ripping. So that was it for today, guys. That was it with our morning show. There are actually some thunderstorms coming closer, so let's see what's going to happen. We definitely cross all our fingers for you that you girls can finally get out in some good conditions that you all need.
So.
Make sure to follow us on all our channels, social media channels, on the website for the live stream, etc. Stay tuned and see you soon. Ciao.
Ciao.